On the 5th of October, 1829, I made my debut as Juliet at Covent Garden. In our family, where everyone else, including Auntie, had made their debut in small roles and worked their way up, I was making my debut as a leading lady. It was only our last chance to save our property, our employees, our good name. So there was no urgency, no pressure at all. Sarcasm, dear, look at that. When the call boy came and tapped on my dressing room door, "Miss Kimball called for the stage, Mum," I nearly collapsed. They had to drag me from the room. I was shaking so with fright. "Courage, courage, dear child," said Mrs. Davenport. "Never mind 'em. Don't think of 'em," Keeley, our comedian, said, referring to the audience. "Don't think of 'em any more than if there were so many rows of cabbages." "Nurse," my mother, as Lady Capulet, called from the stage. On walked Mrs. Davenport, who turned back, looked at me, hesitated only a moment, and then she, in her turn, called, "Juliet!" My Aunt Doll pushed me on, and I ran straight across the stage, stunned with the tremendous shout that greeted me, my eyes covered with mist, and the green baize flooring of the stage rose up against my feet. But I got hold of my mother and stood like a terrified creature at bay, confronting the huge theater full of gazing human beings.
At the Academy of Music, I learned by doing and listening to the great stars who appeared there while on tour, using members of our company to perform with them. Salaries were smaller, life was harder, work was harder, except actors had no social standing, but they lived to act. They respected their profession. Their association with the great roles of Shakespeare gave them dignity in their bearing and their speech. Dear Mrs. Bradshaw taught me the significance of discipline, punctuality, and a clean reputation. Honor the writer, she urged, by speaking his words exactly as he wrote them. Joseph Jefferson said there were no small parts, only small actors. During my second season as a member of the ensemble, I acted my first minor role when the critic for the Cleveland Herald wrote, "Clara Morris played the small part allotted very well." I cut it out, folded it in a piece of paper, went home to my mother, who was very impressed. Looking at them now, the words seem rather dry and scant, but then they had all the sweetness of a June rose.
My life in the theater has been my life on the road, and it's always tested my mettle, especially during the theater trust years. Oh, Harry and I battled them for 12 years. The trust, the syndicate, that peculiar abomination, as Joseph Pulitzer had called it. They controlled all the first-class houses in the country. We had started our own organization, the Association for the Protection and the Promotion of an Independent Stage in America. I remember rushing home after the tour of the Tess of the Dubervilles closed to sign the papers, going to Richard Mansfield's office. We never incorporated. Mansfield went over to the trust. Well, I pledged right then and there that I would fight against the trust and I would fight for what I believe in. And one by one, our members deflected, except for Majeska, and of course, Harry and I. Well, fighting for one's principles is the reason for living.
When I defected to America, it was not just for material success, but to escape from total poverty, from persecution, from myself. Adelaide Leventon died there, and I've been searching for a home for Nazimova ever since, and I almost did. But now I go on done, and I have not even heard a word from you, huh? You must be so proud of this, your theater, huh? How could one not forget that with the full-page picture you have devoted to yourself in the program? Oh, 3 credits! Director, artistic director, and producer to my humble one as Madame Ravenstein. But you must know how very and truly touched I am by your having me, and ever so grateful to be back on the boards. I lose my beloved cherry orchard on stage every night, while by day I watch as they take away my cherished garden of Allah, turned into shoddy hotels.
Places, please.
And now we shall find our places together again on the stage. Ah, the most wonderful word of them all. Places.
In 1938, after a string of flops in Hollywood, I was queen of box office poison. I decided I'd better get myself back to New York and do a play. I managed to buy out my contract from RKO and avoided a dismal film called Mother Carries Chickens. Can you imagine? Well, Phil Barry, who wrote Holiday, which I had done on loan a year before with Columbia, approached me with an idea for a play inspired by me and my family, The Philadelphia Story. Oh, I went mad. I worked with Phil at Fenwick in Connecticut and up in Maine, and we made a terrific hit on Broadway. Tracy Lord was and remains one of my top roles. Howard Hughes, who wanted to marry me at the time, thought it best that we secure the film rights to The Philadelphia Story, because we knew every actress in Hollywood would vie for the role, but it was mine, and I made damn sure of it. Well, thanks to Howard. I really liked Howard. We got along very well, but I did not want to marry Howard Hughes. Oh, why Tracy Lord? Because she is everything I love and detest about myself, all at the same time. She is strong and vulnerable, sometimes at the same time. And there is a happy ending.